Hi everyone, welcome back to the Always Believer podcast. I'm your host, Tina Redondo, and we're back once more for our last and final Go to Fly episode this season, season 3. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm so excited to have this guest in front of me right now. I saw her on TikTok because, of course, where else am I finding these beautiful souls? TikTok. Like, I feel like there's so many guests that's been on because of TikTok, and a few from Instagram, but still, TikTok's where we're at lately. I fell in love with her voice and her vibe and her essence. Without further ado, I'm gonna let her present herself. We have Tina Masawi. How, Tina?
Hi, Ariadna. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm really excited to chat with you.
I'm super excited. It was like a random. It was on my For You page. We're based in the same city, so that counts for something.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like the TikTok really knows who you are. Like knows what kind of music
really
you listen
creepy.
to, and knows what you're going through. Like, I agree, it is creepy, but at the same time, you're like, am I just confused to this right now because this is so hard specific?
Right.
This is actually beneficial because when we were talking pre-recording, we were talking, of course, a little bit about the pandemic. Right. And we didn't touch about this subject. We were just talking about moving and like stuff like that. But one of the things was mental health. And it's incredible, like how our mental health has changed so much through the pandemic, quote unquote, thanks to a pandemic, thanks to something so big hitting us all. And then you go to your For You page and you're like, these people not only are going through what I'm going through, which is awesome to see, at the same time, like, they're giving me ideas and solutions and like mini therapy sessions. So I have like a lot of that, plus I give out a lot of that through my own TikTok, and then all of a sudden in between I have beautiful voices like yours, and I'm like, oh my god, who is this girl, who is this queen? I want to know so much more.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was really nice when you reached out. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And it's so great that we're in the same city as well. So we're going to meet up. Oh my
god, we got to meet up. Yes, definitely. Please. So let's formally introduce who you are. Tell us about you. What do you do?
Well, my name is Tina Masawi, Tina for short. I am from Zimbabwe. I'm a singer, and I also do modeling and acting part-time. I'm also a real estate agent part-time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little thing that I just do in the background. So during the day, I'm sort of doing 100,000 things. But yeah, so I'm from Zimbabwe. I've been living in Spain for 7 years, I think now almost. I moved here 2014 on my own.
Barcelona directly?
No, I went to Gran Canaria first. I got a contract to sing in like one of the resorts there because, you know, it's very touristic. But the island was a little bit small for me and I wanted something else, you know? And then I came to visit Barcelona, I think in 2016, the beginning of 2016. And I just fell in love with the city. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to move here. I like it here. There's everything here. So I quit that job and went back home for 3 months. And then I moved to Salau, actually, because I had to get a contract to work. And then from then I've been like freelancing it, and just then I moved closer to the city and I've been here ever since.
That is a beautiful ride. It makes complete sense.
A long ride.
Yeah. I'm right there with you with that one. Without a doubt. It's like, how did you end up here? I'm like, well, what part of the story do you want to hear? Like, where do I pinpoint that?
And where's here?
And where's here? Exactly. It's like, where are you from? I'm like, what kind of answer do you want? Where I was born? Where I feel like what's happening? Like, it's always $1 million question. I was like, I'm just a person existing in this earth. I'm just here right now, currently in Barcelona. You know?
I love that.
Thank you. You were talking about the islands. I also was very attracted to the islands because I'm very much a beachy, chill, like I need that kind of weather. However, I'm also a city girl, so I completely understand when it comes to...
I go to the island a lot still to visit and go for like a week to just hang out there. But, you know, I just didn't see myself living on an island for the rest of my life. I mean, I couldn't. There's very limited options, you know, it's different. And I wanted to really do it. So I was like, let me move to a city, not really like a big city like Madrid, but Barcelona is just perfect for me because it's, I mean, it was just perfect. It was a perfect fit.
It's an interesting choice as well between Madrid and Barcelona. They're so different.
Yes.
They offer so many different things as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I thought, you know what, I'm not really a Madrid type of girl. I've been there a few times. I mean, I like it, but I didn't feel how I felt. And I'm really a vibes person. So I do things according to how I feel, as opposed to, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, but all the artists and there's the theaters there in Madrid and there's that. But I was like, I need to feel good in the place.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna make you happy at the end. And then like, who are we as an artist? Whatever kind of artist you are, if you aren't happy, like what kind of art?
Exactly.
You're like none, or like really, really depressive kind. But even then, it's like not. Like, I think.
Yeah, or I
think the heartbreaking kind is because you had a heartbreak. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So that was, I knew from the moment the first day I was here, I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna move here. Like I love it.
I have the same love for Barcelona. I think it's something that, well, it doesn't matter the city that you choose. I feel like it has to call to you as well, because I'm also like a feels kind of person, as you can obviously tell.
Yes.
And so you can tell. It's just that's the vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
And I also lived in Madrid. I lived in Madrid for a little bit because I was working there, and it was fun and all, and it was nice and all. And I had loved to go back and visit. Once again, nothing against the city by any means. It's just I was like, wait, no, I want a feeling, a city that feels like home the moment that I step into it. And for me, that was Barcelona.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I adore the vibes, the freestyle, the free living, I don't know, it's very different. Very flowy, which is very us.
I love it here. So yeah, that's how I ended up here, and here we are.
Here we are in Barcelona. From Zimbabwe. That's so cool. How often do you go back, or how?
So before the pandemic, I would go once a year for 3 months because my whole family's there. But I haven't been able to go since actually the week that they did the first lockdown here. I was just coming back from a 3-month holiday from Zimbabwe. So I arrived on like the 7th, and like 3 days later, it was like lockdown. I was like, no, I could have been locked down at home, you know? So yeah, that was quite interesting. But yeah, I haven't been home.
Would you have preferred to be locked down at home? I think life would have been very different.
I think it would have been very different as well. I think it was fine the way it happened. I think it was meant to happen the way it did, and it was actually cool. I had a good time in 2020. I was here. I was very creative actually, because, you know, with gigging a lot, I don't have a lot of time to create and write. Like right now it's summer. I haven't been recording. I have a huge backlog of, you know, stuff that I have to work on, and I just don't have the time to do that because I'm like working. But in the pandemic, I released an EP. I released singles.
Did a lot of stuff. That's what we want to talk about. Tell us all about it. How was your 2020?
Worked out really well. Yeah, it actually worked out really, really well. You know, so I'm really grateful for that, to be honest. And you know, just spending that time alone and reflecting and growing, I didn't have a bad time whatsoever. It was great. I think
I adore hearing those success stories. I feel like as human beings, and this whole different sides conversation, we tend to focus on the negative because it's so easy to do that, you know. And then there's people like us, and what I always try to do is like the positive, hence the name of the podcast and the blog and everything. They always believe to continue believing, continue focusing on the positive and whatnot. And that's why I'm thankful to the pandemic too, for a certain sense. People are like, oh no, but like so many deaths and so many people, like, I understand, I get it. I'm right there with you, and I want to be sympathetic. It's just like, thanks to that, so many other people, including myself, like I said earlier, like it's the mental health, or it's like the creative side. It's like,
right.
That was a year where there were so many shifts happening that we didn't realize that the shift was happening until right now, if that makes sense. Like
exactly.
Now it's like we see it come to fruition. We're like, oh wait.
You're like, oh, that happened because of the pandemic. This is what
exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's very interesting, and it's also really nice because since the world always goes fast, it finally slowed down. And I hope that we can like take that into account. Like now that we're going back to quote unquote normal, or back to that rhythm, it's like, no. Where were you the happiest? Where were you the most creative? Remember to slow down. Like,
that's
take what you need. Yeah, exactly. You know, like for you and your creative stuff, that you're backlogged. Like instead of saying yes to every single event, kind of switch it around, and only you because you're an artist, just people in general, you know, it doesn't matter if you're an artist or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty impressive that the shift happened. So
Thank you.
how would you describe your music?
I think it's very I feel like it's easy to listen to. I never knew for a very long time like what genre I'd be doing. I just like to sing. So if something feels good to me, I just sing it, whatever. I just write whatever. So it's a mix of a lot of genres that I like. So I do sing R&B, Afro beats. I love singing blues. I like pop sometimes as well. So there's always a little bit of an element of that in like of different genres in every song. And so I feel like it makes it easy to listen to, and it doesn't really matter what language I'm singing in. I feel like people can somehow relate to, you know, maybe the melodies or the rhythm or something. There's always a little something that somebody can relate to. So I feel like it's a very maybe versatile sound, I'd say.
I would say so.
You know,
I like that word for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and also
I
feel like it's music you can play for any occasion. It's not club music. It's not, you can play it wherever. You can play it while you're barbecuing. You can play it while you're driving in your car. You can play it while you're cleaning your house. You can play it at a party. So I like that it can just,
I can
like
for all those things.
Can fit into any, it's like a chameleon, you know, like, but I feel like it's just a reflection of who I am as well. I'm also like that. I can fit in anywhere. I'm a person that can just go with the flow, really. So I think my music reflects that as well.
That's a beautiful sentiment, to be honest, because it's just go with the flow rather than be adaptable to your surroundings, which is a good thing to do, but also stand out within those circumstances because you go with the flow and you have that kind of base. So
I just adapt, like, but in my own way.
Exactly. I have a couple good, interesting questions. I'm like, okay, this is the next one, then fine. You talked already about this, that's why I'm going to make a little nod to it, that you sing in different languages or whatever language you sing. You just started singing, not only speaking, but singing in Spanish.
Yeah, singing in Spanish. Yeah, that was the first for me. I was quite nervous about it because I feel like it's one thing speaking Spanish, which I speak very well. I can write it and everything, but when you're singing, I know like the Spanish lyrics are very poetic. It's a different type of vibe. So I didn't want to assume just because I can speak Spanish, I can sing in Spanish. So I did write the lyrics, but obviously they needed a little tweaking. So I got help from some people that know how to write songs and lyrics in Spanish to make it sound authentic so that it's relatable to the people. I didn't want it to sound like I'm trying to sing in Spanish or whatever. So yeah, that was very interesting for me. I really enjoyed that experience. Absolutely.
It is absolutely beautiful. I feel like it's definitely a great, wonderful way to reach, of course, more of an audience. But it's also like how do I explain it? Like the way that you sing it, it's also the same way that you sing in English. And I mean that in the kindest way. It just feels so natural.
Yeah. I sing the same way. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not Spanish, so I'll do the best that I can. But at least I wanted the lyrics to be good, you know. And then I'll just sing it the way that I sing it, because then that way it's still like authentic. It's still me. It's not like I'm trying to be a Spanish singer or a certain. It's just still me transmitting my message in another language, and that's it.
That's absolutely gorgeous. Another thing that I do want to share is basically, so you have that first song in Spanish. So what made you say yes to that? What sparked that idea? What sparked that passion in you to say, let me write a song or sing a song in Spanish?
So a lot of people have been asking me to do it, but I just always used to feel shy to do it. Like, oh, you know, I don't think it'll come out well. And then one day I was just here in my little studio and I wrote a few lyrics down and I was like, oh, this is not so bad. And then I forgot about it. And then I was doing this artist incubator with IMB school, the music business school here in Barcelona. And they'd asked me to send them a few demos of whatever I had to see what we would work on. And they absolutely loved that one. And I was like, are you sure? I like this one. And they're like, no, let's work on this one. And so they kind of encouraged me to just do it. They're like, no, it sounds good, whatever. And I was like, really? And so, yeah, from there, I felt a little bit more confident to just do it. And we worked on it a lot. So yeah, that until it was perfect, then I felt better. I was like, okay, it's okay now. And I had a bunch of people listen to it. See, does it sound like cool? Does it sound Spanish enough?
It sounds really cool, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Really,
Yeah,
with
really Afrobeat. So it's like, wow, very different, but still cool.
You already said previously that you do know how to speak Spanish. And you know how to speak Spanish well. So how was that? Like, did you learn it here when you moved to Spain?
Yeah, I learned it. I learned Spanish just speaking. It's very weird. Sometimes I wonder, like even writing, I write in Spanish and I speak it, but I've never taken a class in my life. So I literally learned it just speaking to people and have them correct my grammar and have them correct my.
That is a very, very cool thing, though, because I have heard you speak Spanish and you do know how to speak Spanish. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's so weird. Sometimes I'm like thinking in Spanish. Yeah, I'm like, I'm thinking in Spanish and I'm like, how did I get here?
That is so cool.
Weird.
I love how you were also very methodic. That's what I'm saying. Like, you do know how to speak Spanish, so you would think that songwriting in Spanish would also be a little bit easier in that kind of sense. It's not like you barely know the language.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know you do.
I know what I try. Yeah.
But the thing is, I love how you were so like methodic and careful about it, because that just means that you really love your craft, and instead of like, I could just say this random sentence and I know it's going to make sense because grammatically it makes sense. Like, I want to make sure it all lines up together and like
exactly
work hard on it. That's
no, absolutely. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So even when I'm recording it, I will record one line like 5 times just so that it's a bit flat here. This is a bit, I need more energy, like, oh. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I just want it to be, good. So yeah, I try a lot to work, but I love it. So it's no skin off me. If it takes me 5 hours to record one verse, I don't really mind.
Oh, I adore that so much. I adore that sentiment. And you also have a music video with it as well.
Yes.
How was that experience? I mean, you've had various music videos from what I saw.
Yeah, it was a very long, actually this song release had a lot of hiccups with it. It was very difficult, I would have to say. Probably my most difficult experience, because for the first time I had like a team involved. I had people advising me. Actually, that video was shot twice. That was the second video. We had one and I was not happy with it. And so we had to reshoot my way, and then I was fine. Because it literally was not, I mean, everybody agrees to it. Like, it was just not me, the director that we were using. Bless her soul, she's very talented. But, she also had a different vision to what I had in mind, and it just wasn't what I wanted to communicate. And I was not really happy releasing something that didn't feel authentic. It didn't look like me. It didn't sound, just, so I had to redo it again. And until I had the product that I was like, okay, this I can share with people and still stay true to like myself, the bright colors, the draw, all of that. Like, I was like, I need that. The other one was complete opposite of that. It was very dark, which would be cool, but for somebody else, it just was not really
for somebody else. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I completely congratulate you, and we applaud people like you who stand up for what they believe in, literally. Not because of the play on words with the whole belief thing, but no, seriously, like, you stood up and you're like, no, this is who I am, this is what I want to do.
Exactly.
And I've talked about this in many other Go to Fly stories with many other guests, that as a woman, as a minority, as a person in general, regardless, it's so hard to stand up for yourself and be an advocate for yourself in whatever situation. But I also have interviewed a lot of people who are in the industry, and even then it's kind of, same thing happens to me. There's a lot of things that I want to do and take my project a certain way, but other people are like, no, you have to go this way. Like, no, that's just like what's happening here. It's like, if not, kind of lose the essence of who you are. And I think that's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that people don't know. And then when they see an artist, they're like, oh, she used to be this way, now she's that way, or what she's doing. It's like, well, exactly, that's usually how it goes. And I'm really happy that you actually were like, no, we're shooting this straight off.
Yeah, we had to do all of it. I mean, I was tired and I did not want to do it, but I was like, I think this is just a necessary evil that I have to I have to suck it up and just redo it again, and until it's the way that I would like to present myself, you know. At the end of the day,
at the end of the day, it's your name. Exactly.
And and it's my song and it's my message. So I would like for it to all be in line with, you know, the vibe that I'm trying to send out. So
it is a beautiful video, and I love the colors, like you said, and I don't know what's it called in English or just in general, diadema, like what you were wearing.
Oh yeah, my hairband.
Yeah, there you go. Your hairband. It's a really, really, really cool hairband. And I'm like, that's so awesome.
Thank you.
It's like a goddess queen of somewhere or other. So I saw that. I'm like,
thank you so much.
Cool. Oh my goodness. So yeah, definitely. I thought that like it's really nice to see artists being who they really are, seeing that growth and seeing that transparency as well, from like whatever you do post on your social media to what you actually see on those video clips, and like expressing who you are and whatnot. And of course the lyrics, obviously.
Of course. Yeah, very important.
So before we continue down the Spain path, let me backtrack a little bit, because I was going to ask you that previously as well. You also toured South Africa. Tell us about that.
Wow, yeah, that was a while ago. It was in 2012. I got a contract to perform at it was a theater company, and they had various theaters all over the country. And so it's been a few months in one city, a few months in one city. It was very interesting. It was a lot of fun. I was young. It was exciting. Made a lot of friends, you know, and worked and grew. And I think, yeah, that's what I took from that the most. You know, I'm a big believer in growth. I always want to be doing better than I was last year. And sometimes I nearly like break myself in half trying to just outdo myself. But it's so important to me. So yeah, every time I do something, it's for me to learn and for me to grow. So that was a huge learning and growth experience as well. And it was a lot of fun. So much fun. South Africa is beautiful. It was great. And I love the theater as well. I started off in theater, so it was really nice to do a musical. It was a great experience, I have to say.
That's so cute. Musical. I love musicals too. Like I say, it's cute. Like it would be cute to watch you in a musical. It would be really cool to see you act again, of course. Do you miss acting?
It was such a long time. I do miss it a lot. I really enjoyed it, because I actually started off just acting in the theater before I had the confidence to go and like start singing. And I enjoyed it. I love the costumes, and you always, every time I remember when I would do a show, it's like you spend so much time with people and you form these really cool bonds. It's like you become a little family for a few months. I really enjoyed that. It was really, and that's probably one thing that I really miss about, the theater. You're in close proximity with people like every other day, for months, and it's like, oh wow, and then it's heartbreaking when it ends though, but I do miss it for sure.
I can definitely imagine having that, of course, of like missing that aspect of it. One of the cool things that I realized with this question that I didn't realize that before, that it was so long ago. And what I love pointing out at these points and these occasions when I meet people in general, I'm like, as a reminder for Team Flyer, our audience, our listeners out there, it's like, you see this person being successful all of a sudden. I'm like, no, these are like many years of craft, many years of building up the work, many years of doing a whole bunch of different things in a different kind of way, and different countries, even, much like yourself, So it's cool because by now you are finally getting that following, you are getting that recognition, but it hasn't been overnight. It's like, oh no, I've been here, X amount of months or X amount. No, I started from here, right?
It's been a long time in this industry, I think. So yeah, those are important little experiences that helped me to get to where I am today. At the end of the day, I appreciate each and every one of them, even the terrible ones.
You can say that again. It's something that I also talk a whole lot here through the podcast and my social media and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, even the horrible ones. I mean, yeah, you might be going through a really rough time at that moment, of course, not understanding why you're going through that, but everything's being made for you to grow, for you to heal, for you to forgive, for you to create, like the pandemic, realize your potential a whole lot more. You change your career, or you did something, you know what I mean? So, and much like you, I also strive to grow there's an episode I had recently that was either evolve or repeat. And I basically spoke about that. And I'm like, yeah, you always have to evolve. I mean, it's so easy to repeat, so easy to stay in your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
And I've put myself as an example all the time. Like, even me, that I'm a social butterfly, I talk to a lot of people. Sometimes it's really difficult to just do certain things. For example, like what I'm breaking out of my comfort zone recently is going live. Like, I can do TikToks talking to myself. I can do this, talk to other people, you know what I mean?
Same. I'm not a live person. Oh my gosh. I just find it to be the weird, you know, I've tried, even with social media, it's kind of like a new experience, because I barely posted ever. I think I only really started getting into the social media thing because my brother, one of my younger brothers, is like, if you really want to do this, you have to be active. And I'm like, no, but I don't want people in my business. I'm a very private person. I didn't want to be all over the internet on any level. If I was not an artist, I probably wouldn't even have a social media. But unfortunately, it's part of the job. So I had to learn to find a way to do it my way, where I'm just like sharing the stuff that I want to share. And I've recently just gotten comfortable with that recently. Lives are a whole other animal. I'm like, I've done a few, I think I've done one recently. And I really struggled. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know, it's I totally get you there. It's like, it's another thing. I don't know if I'll ever get used to those, or I don't know. I feel like I'm doing enough for now.
There you go, because you go little by little. Hence why, like, the question was perfect. Even after telling, like, hey, you have your own photo shoot. I mean, of course, photo shoot, but you had your own video. You're recording. It's made you doing so many things right now. You're like, oh, let's backtrack it. Literally 10 years. Like, this is where we started. So it's like getting out of your comfort zone little by little by little. Like, for me, in the lives, I spoke. I did a live this week. We went to the beach, and I'm like, I'm starting to do lives like when I'm a certain place around the city, so that way I don't have to do a lot of the talking, so I can get used to it, so you can just see the city, because a lot of people love Barcelona, and I'm like, here,
yeah,
well, it's the perfect 2-in-1, because it is that moment of awkwardness. You're like, you're talking to yourself, but you really aren't talking to yourself, but it's
exactly it is dynamic. Like very strange. Yeah. So oh well, it's part of it. It's a part of it. I mean, if I absolutely have to do it, then I would, but
not for now.
I try to avoid it.
It's enough for now. And I also understand you. I'm also a very private person, and it's always interesting for people to hear that. And I'm like, yeah, I do share a lot, but I share, one, what I want to share, starting from there. And two, also, like, I share experiences that I know that can be easily adaptable to other people, in the sense of, like, I don't name names or things like that. I'm just like, oh, this particular thing happened to me, and this is how I'm, you know, maneuver through it, especially with like a wellness podcast, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of personal stories behind it.
Right,
and,
of course.
You know, and then also the social media, because it used to be all about like my guests, which I love, because that's what I created, you know, like every week I had a different guest, I had a different person. It was all about them. I thought I kept getting asked about me. I'm like, oh, that's right, you guys really don't know me. Like, it's you know, I'm but I'm the host, the creator. I just don't talk a lot about myself. And having that shift, but while keeping my privacy, and for me was also really big, like seeing the city where I live. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay now seeing Barcelona, because it makes sense with everything that's showing up. And I love sharing the city so much. Like, even if I'm not in the picture, it's kind of like the buildings and the vibe, you know what I mean? You're like, look, like, come visit, you know what I mean? It's fine. But then there's a lot of personal details I do keep out of it as well. And I do also disconnect a lot. I'm a true advocate of like disconnecting from social media, even if it's your job. It's like, just,
absolutely,
go offline.
No, I do that as well, like a WhatsApp, whatever. Like, some of my friends always like, oh, you haven't been online. How are you not online for like 48 hours? I'm like, oh, because I don't want to speak to anybody.
That's simple.
I don't want to be online. But they've gotten used to it, because sometimes like, we're worried about you. You live by yourself. You can't just disappear. I'm like, but you already know, like, this is how I do. Sometimes I get really tired. I'm overwhelmed, and I just don't want to be online, you know? I mean, it's one of those things. And I'm very much an introvert, actually, believe it or not. Nobody believes me when I say this. I go out a lot and I work, but I can't be go all the time. I literally crash, and then I need a couple of days to just be on my own, to just recharge my batteries, and then I can be an awesome person again. But other than that, I can't just be on. And, you know, even socializing a lot, I need like a day off or a couple of days off. I can't do every day. It's just a lot. And my job is very social as well. So just me going to an event, you know, I have to socialize. And so I definitely need some downtime when it's that. So that's part of it as well. So I can disappear offline for like a couple hours, or just decide I'm not checking my emails for the next 2 days because I can't, or, you know, things like that, because I literally have to, it's absolutely, it's necessary. It's necessary.
I adore that you're saying this, and I adore this message, and I stand by this message.
Mhm.
That it's an equilibrium. It's not about work. I feel like we've been transforming, or I don't know the word right
Transcending.
now. Transcending, everything right now, into a whole new reality of like, it's not all about the hustle and bustle, like work. It's like, no, like there's a balance, there's life work balance. Let's make sure that we keep it.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we sustain this, because in order for you to be the best version of yourself, you have to put in that rest time. And coming from me, that I was work, and I'm in survival mode most of the time, and I'm like learning how to detach myself from that, and learning how to like go into it in a whole different way. The whole perfectionist thing that used to be the past me. Now I'm like, oh, it's okay if I, hear a little bit of background noise, or if little things like that,
right?
And definitely the resting. It's such a big part of it, because I feel like most people who are always on screen, regardless what their job is, they usually are more likely introverts than extroverts.
A lot of my artist friends are introverts.
Right? Yeah, because like I need that time to recharge. Like I can be in parties regardless of what, and I'm like, if I've been there for a couple hours, like I need 20 minutes away. Like let me just
literally I just go to the bathroom to like sit. I'm like, it's like I'm gonna go pee, but I'm not really doing that. I'm just probably just sitting there for like 15 minutes, just to, not that I'm not enjoying it, it's just that it's just how I am.
It takes a lot out of you, and then you got to be real with your energy and real with who you are. And exactly the sentence you said, I'm like, I need to go home for 2 days to recover, so then I can be the awesome person that I am.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, I'm not even that pleasant to be around. I'm not chatty. And then people don't understand it. They'll think that they take it personally, but it literally will be me. And my mind just switches off, and I'm zoning out, and I'm just like, okay, I want to go home. But I don't want to be like that. So to avoid that, I recharge my batteries. I go out full on. I'm there. And then when my time is, when I start to feel, tired, then I retreat and then I come back again better than before.
Exactly. Especially when people like take offense to it. It's like, no, it's really not you. It's just me. It's just like, I get it. When I'm hella tired, I'm just like, no. Like, let me just regroup.
Absolutely.
Please,
absolutely.
And thank you. And also when it comes to our kind of, our job, basically, it's such a social thing. But it does reflect a lot in my personal life with my actual friends, that like I do so many social events, and I'm like, that I feel very standoffish with friends sometimes. I'm like, no, it's just like, I'm like, recovering. Hold on.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, but you were at work. I'm like, yeah, but but I have very understanding friends. I think they've kind of figured me out now. They don't really mind. Even my parents, sometimes I disappear for like, why haven't you called in like 3 days? I'm like, literally, I've just been sleeping and cleaning my house and walking my dog and just, doing random stuff by myself here, just, taking some time out. And then when I'm back, I'm like checking on everybody. What you've been doing?
Exactly. This is the best way we work. And I feel like it's just this new earth really needs to, get on that. Not only the work balance thing and like work rest balance, I'm trying to say, but also like making sure like you have to know or realize that everyone has a different pattern that they work off. It's not like the same pattern, the same rhythm, the same way. We're not robots, we're crying out loud.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
So going back to present time, basically. So we went around the route, basically. We're back where we started, which is present time.
Right.
You have apart from release your first song in Spanish, performed, not worked, but performed in, like it says here with your beautiful bio, in Spain's most prestigious theaters.
Yes.
Tell us all about that, with a 60-piece orchestra in what was this again, in Madrid? Yeah, Teatro Real de Madrid,
The
in the
Teatro Real de Madrid,
Liceo, in Barcelona, in the Olympic Stadium, Olympic Stadium of Barcelona, y Sala Polo. O sea, por favor, let's talk all about this. My Spanish came out, I know. I feel like I get excited.
Oh yeah, it was really fun. It was a great experience. I got to do this this show that they put together. You know, I don't know if you know Flash FM. It's a radio station, and they put on this show. Massive. It's like I said, 60-piece orchestra. There's a 5-piece band. There's like 6 DJs. I don't know how. I think there's about 6 other singers as well. And it was amazing. Like, wow, you know. That's really all I can say about it. It was just really awesome.
Just wow.
Such a cool experience. Yeah. And I didn't really know the weight of it at the beginning when they booked me for it. I think the first one they booked me for was at the Liceo. And I had no idea what the Liceo was at the time. And my friends kept freaking out, like, oh my gosh, you know, like the people that are studying for years to be able to perform on that stage, and you just rock out over here and I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I did my research. I mean, like, amazing people have been on that stage, you know, Ella Fitzgerald, everybody. And I was like, wow, you know, so it was such a huge honor to be able to perform on a stage like that and get that type of visibility. I mean, there's even the audience that comes. I mean, in Madrid, it was like a bunch of actors from the TV retweeting me. And like, I was like, oh my goodness, this is very exciting, very, very exciting. It's a very exciting project, and I hope to be able to do that again. And the Olympic Stadium, it was during, I think it was summer actually, and you know, it was still pandemic vibes, but I think that was very much needed. A few thousand people came through. It was very exciting. So I'm just glad to be able to do things like that and just, you know, perform. I'm always happy when I'm performing. So
it's just absolutely gorgeous, and the fact that you've been on those platforms already, and not only already because you have been working at this for 10+ years, but you know, you're getting that recognition. You're starting right there. It's just absolutely gorgeous to see, without a doubt.
Thank
and you
you.
Can, like I said, like you seeing you perform, it's like you can tell that your heart and soul and your passion's into it. Like, absolutely, you're just like embodied.
Yeah, I just disappear. Like, I feel like I'm alone on stage, you know, when I go on there. I don't even get nervous. I feel so at home on the stage. And then I feel like it's, you know, there's certain, and I just love to speak through music. I feel like I express myself so much better when I'm singing than even when I'm talking, you know? So yeah, I just love to have that opportunity to relate to people and like connect with people. It's just so beautiful.
Oh my goodness. I'm very, very excited for you. I know you also sang at somebody's wedding recently.
Yes, at Dani Carvajal of Real Madrid's wedding, and his wife, Daphne Cañizares. Oh, lovely couple. It was amazing. Again, another awesome thing.
It just lined up for you automatically.
Yeah, I don't know how they found me online, and then their wedding planner reached out to me, and and then I said, hey, so do you want me to use an instrumental or bring a musician? They were like, no, we just want you a cappella. And I said, a cappella? I don't think I've ever done an a cappella gig before, but that was the first time. So it was really exciting. I was like, oh my gosh, it was very, very sweet actually. They're like, no, we don't want anything, just a spotlight and you in a dress and a cappella. I said, wow, okay, cool. I'll do it.
It was very gorgeous. When I saw the pictures, I was like, girl, you're doing it. You're doing all the greatest things. Because it was literally what you described. It was, of course, the couple, and congratulations to the happy couple. But it was you right there, center, spotlight, dress,
literally.
Whoa.
No, and I thought, should I wait for them? Because I said, do you want me to wait for you to come on? No, they were like, we want you to start. So I started singing before they came on. So they switched off all the lights and they had the spotlight on. And then the couple walked in about 30 seconds into the song, and then they put the spotlight on them. They were just dancing, and it was just the three of us in the light, and it was just, oh, it was so pretty. I was like, this is a fairy tale.
It definitely felt like that, at least for the pictures
did.
and the videos. You're like, wow.
See, it was so special.
That's props to your little bro saying you should stick to social media because that's how they found you, and that's how I found you. You know what I mean? It's like, no, literally, what it is.
95% of the work that I get now is from social media. People find me on Instagram or on TikTok, or you know, or Google search, because obviously that comes up, like all the stuff is online now, you know. Then they find, I mean, I think she got the wedding planner got my number on LinkedIn.
Oh wow.
Imagine that. Because I don't have my phone number on there on my socials, but like she wanted to call me directly and, you know, in chat, and I was like, oh wow, LinkedIn, amazing.
Exactly. This is not an ad for LinkedIn by any means, or any.
I didn't even realize I had my phone number on LinkedIn, but I was like,
it's like, all right.
So, it's good to have it there somewhere.
Exactly. At least some way, somehow they got to you. Because I mean, that was a big one, I would assume, just everything.
Yeah.
For being flown in, I'm assuming.
How did you use that?
Did they get married in Madrid or?
In Segovia, just outside of Madrid. It's like an hour, you know, an hour and a half from the center. Yeah. Beautiful.
That's absolutely gorgeous. And I feel like you probably had like the first class royalty. I mean, not that they're royalty by any means, but you know what I mean.
I mean, of course, like here, they're like.
I mean, it's Real Madrid or Barca.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean.
The
soccer players,
no, and even
they're
in my
very
country,
important in this country.
Yeah, no, and even back home, I'm like, people are writing articles about it. I mean, they're going crazy because they love football back in Zimbabwe as well. I've been getting phone calls like, oh, you went to Danny Carvajal's wedding, and I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, wow, yeah.
Like I did, and I didn't even. Not only did I go, I performed.
I performed there. Yes, I performed there, and they reposted my post as well, and everyone's like, oh my god, you know, they're very sweet, actually, very, very lovely.
That's also wonderful to hear, of course, for
lovely out people
there. My husband is. Absolutely. I'm a Barca fan, of course, but he's from Madrid, so
naturally.
Naturally, opposites attract. Literally, naturally, they really.
Yeah,
do.
you know, I was like, you know what? Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh. Talk about places to perform. Let's manifest some really, really cool stuff here. What is a place you'd love to perform in?
Oh my gosh, I have so many that I want to perform at. Well, some huge festivals I'd love to perform at Primavera. Almost got a slot there, almost. But next year. Next year, Primavera Sound. I'd love to do that. Sonar is also a really good one. Madison Square Garden. Hello. Like to sing a song for some kind of inauguration of something. I don't know, because that's my vibe. Yeah. I'm just happy performing anywhere, to be honest, but I would love to perform in Primavera and someday perform in the States one time, I guess, you know, because as a child, I always wanted to go to LA. I always wanted to do this, obviously realizing as I grew up that it's not really the way that I thought it was as a child, but I feel like the little girl in me would love to perform at some stage there once.
I feel like you are
or in New York.
First of all, you're definitely going to be singing the States sometime soon. I could definitely call that. I know that's going to happen for a fact, starting from there. And so you're definitely predicted my next question, because my next question was, what would you tell your younger self? So you start talking about your little girl.
Yeah, she's
younger self. So what
my
would you
younger
tell?
self.
Yeah.
I told her to hang in there, man. Like everything's going to work out. I got you. I'll take care of you. I always took care of her.
That's so sweet. It's
I
so
always
simple,
took care of that
so sweet.
girl.
Like, just hang in there, man. Just hang in there.
Just hang in there, dude. We're good. I've got you. Yeah, that's what I would tell her. And she'd be fine playing with her Barbies or whatever and doing like choreography in the living room to some MTV music.
And I feel like talking about Barbie, she'll be very hyped up that there's a Barbie movie coming out.
I know. She'd be like, oh my gosh, they're making a Barbie movie finally. Yeah.
Like real life Barbie movie. I wasn't a big fan of Barbies in general, but oh really?
Would you? I don't know. I feel like it would just ruin my childhood perspective of Barbie.
The thing is, the thing, like for me, I didn't really play with Barbies. I played with stuffed animals. So it's not a big thing for me at all. I'll probably end up watching it because I do love Ryan Gosling and her and oh my god,
oh my gosh,
her,
Margot
Harley
Robbie.
Quinn, but yeah, her.
She's definitely a Barbie.
Yes.
That's why I was thinking maybe I'd watch it, because if it's her, and I'm a huge fan of hers. I think she's absolutely Barbie vibes. So yeah, maybe I might watch it. I don't know. We'll see.
And then on the flip side, apart from that, I love stuffed animals. I'm a huge Disney fan. It's just
Disney, of course. So I got my Barbies to dress them up as the princesses, really, and do their hair like that. So I'd always get them styled. And I had a cousin who knew how to make little Barbie clothes. I don't know how she used to do that. Like, she'd sew the clothes for me and be like, I want this outfit for this dolly. So we'd make clothes for them. And really, I was just trying to be a stylist, I guess. Yeah. But that's as far as I go. I just wanted the clothes for the Barbies and
what's one of your favorite Disney princesses?
Pocahontas, I love her. And obviously Princess Tiana came when I was a bit older, but I love her still.
I adore her so much. She's one of my top favorites. Mulan's pretty badass. Yep. Yeah. Well, also Pocahontas. Well, all of them in this, like, including Tiana, obviously.
Yeah, all of them were so cool, but those are my top 3, I would say.
I adore that. I love how you do have Tiana. I feel like, because I was already an adult when she came out, but I'm like, I sing her song all the time, the Almost There.
Yeah.
Because I am almost there. Like, you kind of feel it, you know what I mean?
There? It's a beautiful song.
It is. I adore her spunk. I adore her size. I adore, I love that movie so much.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like Disney princesses, I feel like they're not the 90s anymore. I mean, like, if I was a kid, I would say Ariel, because I do love the sea. So I that was the first thing probably that I would be like,
yes,
you know. But now it's like, no, I love Moana. Like, I have her tattooed. Like, it's Moana.
I love Moana as well. I love all of them, to be honest. Like, yeah, there's something still nostalgic about, you know. Ariel was obviously one of the first ones. I mean, I loved Tinkerbell as well, a lot from Peter Pan. She was, yeah, I was massive fan.
Me too. That's one of my nicknames also. Airy Fairy, the fairy side of it. And that's my first tattoo.
My friends used to call me Tinkerbell.
Oh.
They did. Tinker.
We just hear a line having moments.
I know.
But it's when you said the 90s little kid, I'm like, you know what? Let's just
90s baby.
Let's just talk about our inner child right now. What do you do today to keep your inner child happy?
Whatever I want. I do whatever I want. I do whatever I want, whenever I want. Whatever I feel like. I
adore you even more. I do what I want.
Yeah, I just do whatever I want, whatever I feel like. However I wake up, I just do that. I don't really have any, any other thing that I do. So what if I want something, I just get it. If I even want, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be buying this or whatever, but I'm like, but I want it. So I'm gonna get it.
You want it, and I'm an adult, and I can take care of myself. So I'm gonna
get it. I want a sparkly pair of shoes on a random Tuesday for no reason. I want it. I'll just get it. So I just do that. I want to sleep all day.
The most curious thing I got asked, literally. So this week, during the Monday to Friday week, I went to the beach, right?
Right.
And they're like, "Why are you going on a random Tuesday?" I got asked that. I'm like, "What do you mean? What kind of question is this?" It's like, usually the beach is for the weekends. And I'm like, who in the right mind
said that?
The beach is for the weekends?
Who said that?
Like, what is happening here?
I don't even know what day it is half the time.
Right?
So, literally, I don't keep track of dates or whatever. I just be living. So
that's just the best way to be. And I think that was, I've discovered that new sense of myself, even pre-pandemic, definitely during the pandemic and post-pandemic, if that's where we're at, kind of sort of. But point being, it's like, thanks to that kind of, I was like, oh, I just do what I want and go where I want, and I know that everything is working out, and that's pretty much it.
That's
and
the most important. I can go
to the beach on a random day because I know I can, because I want to.
I'm like, I don't really get that whole routine stuff. I've just never had that in my life. I don't like it, and because I wake up in a different mood every day, and I feel like doing different things. I want to, sometimes I have my breakfast, sometimes I don't have breakfast. Sometimes I eat lunch at 4. Sometimes I want to eat a big dinner at 12 o'clock. Sometimes I want pancakes at 3 in the morning. I'm going to do it, so I'm not really one of those like, oh, today we have, no. So yeah, you just have to live, man. Like, who says you have to do?
Who says? You reminded me of the song Who Says by Selena Gomez, and before Ariana Grande, that I want it, I see it, I got it, or whatever wording she uses in that song. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly
literally
how I live my life. Literally.
No, literally, that's me. No, literally. To the T.
Oh my goodness gracious. I adore this conversation so much. We're definitely going to hang out soon. I definitely have to also wrap up this episode at some point of life before we start talking for the next 2 hours. Quite a few questions. I'm looking through the list. I'm just very honest with my public. I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing right now. This pause means that I have to sum this episode and pick a couple more questions.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go for a deeper one and then the fun ones, and that's it. So the deeper one.
Cool.
Your heritage. How important is your heritage to you? How do you bring that to your everyday life and your music, in general?
Oh, I think it's very important because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. I wouldn't exist if I wasn't Zimbabwean, if I wasn't. So you see a lot of that in the way I dress, maybe in the way I speak or the way I act. There's always just a little bit of that. Even in my music, I sing in Shona a lot as well. And I mean, people here vibe with it. I mean, they'll be singing in Shona with me on the stage, which is amazing. I'm like, they don't even know what I'm saying, but they love it. So yeah, it's just, I think the most important thing is just to be authentic. I'm the way that I am, and my heritage has played a huge role in, and still does, in the way that the decisions that I make, and in my style, and in the music that I do as well. So yeah, that's always going to be a part of me. It's always going to be there. So yeah, I think that's.
There you go. A big part of who you are, just being authentically yourself and just live life, man. Just live life. Just hang in there.
Yeah, just living. Yeah, and even when you go there, like, I might be a little bit of a quirky Zimbabwean or whatever, but I'm still Zimbabwean. Still. So there's always going to be that forever, I think, because I grew up there. It's different if I had like moved when I was younger, but I spent all my life there, and I only left home when I was 21. I was already an adult, so I'm definitely, it's definitely a huge part of me.
There you go. Thank you so much for this. As we wrap up, the same questions I ask all my guests, because they're truly important to me. The first one is 3 words to describe you.
3 words to describe me. Oh, fun. Tough, and wow. What can I say? What's the third one? I don't know.
You did say quirky before when you were described by when you describe yourself in the heritage part. You said a quirky.
Yeah, quirky for sure.
So quirky.
I have my little quirks.
That's quirky.
I would say that, yeah.
But yeah, I do like
very
that.
Honest.
Very honest.
I like honest. Yeah, honest is transparent. Okay, I've given you 5.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
I also don't know how to count, so that's why you got 5 words instead of 3. I'm horrible with math.
I'm gonna say I also am a perfectionist and work really hard. That's why I'm giving you 5 instead of 3.
Yes.
It kind of all lines up there.
Yeah. Oh, we get it. We get each other. It's fine.
Exactly. We got it. One of my all-time favorite questions is, and just as a, what's it called? Do I even know how to speak today? I don't think I do. I feel like the excitement is just like right there. And I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna go with this flow, basically. It's one of the things I do every day is to be thankful. So I always ask, and I always love this question, is what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for all the experiences that I've had, man. Like, wow, I've had even the terrible ones. Like I said, I'm always thankful. And I'm thankful to be in this moment, just healthy, content, doing what I love, living the life that I've created for myself, man. Like, that is so awesome. I'm so thankful. Every day I wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm so thankful I get to do this. I'm so thankful I get to be here. So yeah, I'm thankful for this present moment, really. Yeah, I have a lot to be thankful for, but yeah, that's.
I feel like the little I know you says a lot, because I feel like you embody being present. That's the vibe I get from you, just being present. And that's a huge life reminder my way, because I want to always put myself an example first, because you have to work on yourself first before you help anybody else, you know what I mean? Fill your own cup first. And I feel like being present is something that I'm currently learning more and more and more and more, especially since I come back home, but just in general. And the more present you are, the more abundance you have in so many different areas in your life. And I know this interview in particular, I wanted to talk more about you and get to know you more, like your profession, your, you know, the stuff you're doing. But I know, like, spiritually, holistically, I feel we have a lot more in common there as well. Just by the vibe that you give off. And I'm like, this is a huge life reminder. And I feel like if there's anyone who's ever going to ask me about, like, who's the most present person, you know, I'm like, like, I feel like this interview is really close to my heart for a million reasons.
Bless you.
But also that moment in time is like, this just I wake up and I do what I want. My inner child. How do I get my inner child? I do what I want. I buy what I want.
I do what I want.
Shiny shoes on a Tuesday. I go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When I go, like, I go to the beach on a Tuesday randomly, or on a Wednesday, or on a Thursday. I was just, why not?
Yeah. And my bank account sometimes is saying, girl, and I'm like, but I know I'll have more money tomorrow. I don't know about tomorrow. I might be dead tomorrow. I don't know.
Exactly.
I could wake up, you know, I don't know. You have to live in the moment and just enjoy what you have, because you can't enjoy what you don't even know. You like, I don't know what's going to happen 5 hours from now. I have no idea. But right now, what's happening? What are we doing right now? I'm here having a chat with you, having a nice time. That's it. Why do I have to think about what's going on later or tomorrow, next week? I don't even know what I'm doing next week. I have no idea.
That is such a huge lesson to learn. And I love how, like, that's how literally we're ending the episode with that train of thought. And that's going to stick with me. Like, you have no idea. I'm going to be like on TikTok, I'm like, so I had an interview with Tina Masawi here. I'm going to tag her down below. I swear I'm going to do it because it's true. It's like,
thank you. I'll be watching for it.
Oh, believe me, I go hard. I also go hard. I like tag, I do a whole bunch of the stuff, and I give credit where credit's due. Even I have guests from season 1 that I like start talking about randomly through my TikTok or Instagram or through the guest, and all of a sudden they're like tagged again. They're like, why? And I'm like, because I mentioned you, because you leave those impacts, so people know how to like get to you. You know, you're there, you know. Give credit where credit's due, and if people just make that impact on you, even if it's super small, it doesn't matter. You're like, well, at least you know, be thankful for that as well.
Oh yeah,
like, it's a ripple effect. We always have to be kind to each other. I know, like, there's so much always happen. I mean, there's always something happening in the world. I mean, it's nothing new. It's nothing that, you know,
ugly things going on every day of our lives. I mean, the little bit we can do is just be, you know, a little bit, send a little bit positivity when you can. Just a little bit. Positivity goes a long way. Like you said, it's a ripple effect.
It really is. And this is what I always say. I mean, I know Team Flyer, who's heard every single episode. There's many of you out there. I'm very thankful for them. Like, I say it often, you know, and I'll say in every episode, but every chance I get, it's like, this is why I do the podcast I do. We're talking about you and me behind the scenes. I do one in the studio, want to make sure they have less sound, background noise. I get it. But I'm like, I'd rather have an episode that's, even if it's an hour long or 2 hours long or 20 minutes long, that at least the message is out there in the sense of like, you're listening to it, it gets to you with some sort of maybe a little chaos in the background, because, you know, I've lived in very different places since I started. Life. But it's life.
It's life. Like, you know,
it literally is. So like I said, I'm also very honest. We had to stop the interview because my cat was meowing. But you all know Biggs. If you know me, you know my cat Biggs.
But it's okay. He was singing for us. Some background music.
I want to be in the cool room. He was in the living room.
He's very calm now, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I think he's sleeping.
I see him moving around there in the background, having fun.
Right. So things like that, and I'm like, well, that's life, you know. And at least you're here, and yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, and definitely the last question, because it's also the most important one, is where can we find you? Where can Team Flyer here at the Always Believer podcast find you?
Thank you so much. Yeah, well, you can find me on social media. It's at Tina Masawi on every platform. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, at Tina Masawi.
Exactly. I'll definitely as always tag her down below.
Spotify.
And Spotify, exactly.
Streaming platforms as well. YouTube. Same thing. Tina Masawi. Tina Masawi everywhere.
Literally. And I'll definitely tag her. Please listen to her music. Please vibe to her music. Please come say hello. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ari. You are such a beautiful soul. I had a wonderful. This was lovely. Thank you so much. We have to meet in person for a coffee. Can't wait to meet you.
Oh my God,
You're
definitely. We have that on air, guys. We have that on air, Team Flag. That's a great meeting for a coffee. Let's wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for being here this season, this moment, this present moment, even if it's the only episode you ever listened to, even if it's listen to all of them. Thank you so much for being here, Team Fire. We'll talk to you all really, really soon. Have a beautiful day. Love, what do I always say? Hug tighter, love stronger. Till see you soon. Bye.